This is the After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
Hey everybody, it is the After Party live on a Travel Tuesday. Thank you for being here. And I'm so happy to have everyone along for the ride. And I just saw Wes pop in another $5 for the day. Thank you, Wes. The show is crowdfunded. We couldn't do it without you. I didn't mention it at all yesterday. To please click the like button and please click subscribe. I'm so remiss at doing all the general housekeeping things that would keep this show succeeding. So thank you to everyone for doing that. If you haven't clicked the like button yet today, and if you haven't subscribed to the show, thank you for doing that. We're getting really close to 2,500. That'll be a big milestone when we reach it. So Wes, thank you for the $5 today. Janet W., thank you for your recurring monthly PayPal contribution. Donald S., thank you for yours as well. Kathleen G., Harold H., you guys are awesome. Thank you for helping keep the After Party live rolling. Much appreciated. I did see this, and I don't know. So for those of you that don't know, just a few days ago, my mom had a mild stroke. Her first one, hopefully last one, but I know how that whole thing works. So I'm kind of scared of what's to come. But I've been spending nights with her, sleeping at her house at night and spending evenings with her. It's important for her to keep talking and restore the connection between brain and mouth. So kind of talking and spending a lot of time with her over the last several days. And I live right next door, so it's not like we didn't see each other before, but now I'm just over there like constantly, except for the show. That's the only time I'm here at my house. But just being with her, and she just turned 80 in May. I guess not that she wouldn't go to a Lady Gaga concert, but I just can't see it in my mind's eye. And so to see this, Nancy Pelosi going to a Lady Gaga concert at Chase Center in San Francisco was very amusing. Nancy Pelosi is 85 years old, and look at her in there. She's just scooting down the row, headed to her seat. I have the volume off because we'd get dinged for it, but Lady Gaga music blasting in the background, people dancing, and there's Nancy Pelosi dancing at a Lady Gaga show. So I thought that was really cool that at her age that she's still doing fun things and going out there. And maybe a lot of you are too. But I just I thought that was amusing that at her age she's still out there doing that type of thing. So I wanted to start with that. Also though, have some other really interesting stories on tap for today. Let's see what I have for you. The first one is about this legendary creature. It's the Asian golden cat. And here's a picture of it. All right. Look at that beautiful animal. Very elusive, hardly spotted. The story of many a myth. The feature, I should say, the headline of many a myth in the Thai culture. And this golden cat is captured on a wildlife cam. It's slinking through a forest in Thailand. They're the rarest cat in Asia, apparently. And these camera traps are very useful for checking out not only animal behavior, but an elusive species like the Asian golden cat. And this one was seen wandering through a national park in Thailand, Khao Luang National Park. This Asian golden cat, sometimes called Temminck's cat, in honor of the zoologist who first described the species in the 1800s. Also, it's called fire tiger in Thailand. It's a medium-sized cat. It can be found across much of Southeast Asia, lives in a variety of forest areas, but it is considered, again, Asia's rarest cat. The footage was taken July 8th by the Thailand Government Department of National Parks, Wildlife, and Plant Conservation, and they shared it on their Facebook page. They say this species faces multiple threats: habitat loss, illegal hunting. It's listed as a vulnerable species. with a best population estimate at about 7,000 left in the world. Yeah, not very many of these. No wonder they're so elusive, right? I have the video. It's not much. You just see it kind of crossing a pathway. But let's take a look at it just because we don't see this every day. This Asian golden cat. I like the name Fire Tiger. Here's what it looks like. Seen on this trailhead. I have to take away the picture, which is a really cool picture, I will say. All right. This out of the Miami Herald. They post the video. Oops. Sorry. Getting a lot of things here. Nope, not it. Well, there's the picture. You can see it on the other side of the trail. But I thought it was just sitting here. And now it's not. How sad. I thought I had the video to show you. I'm sorry, you guys. I was all excited about it and everything. See if I can't find it. The Asian fire tiger. Oh, I have it. My apologies. All right. I found it in a different section, on a Facebook section. I'll show it. I promise I'll get it. Okay. Let's try this again. Here it is. Here, now we're cooking with fire. There he is. And again, it's not much really. Just kind of walking through. There he is, slinking through the forest. I can make it bigger. I don't think I can make it bigger. There it is. Look at him go. I know, all that for that. But still, interesting to see him there, caught on the wildlife cam. Looks really healthy, too. So that's good. Another story that I have to show you guys today is about Thomas More. Very interesting history of Thomas More. He was a Tudor statesman who was beheaded by Henry VIII about 500 years ago. The king, at the time, accused Thomas More of treason and ordered his execution in 1535. The issue at hand is that beheaded skull or head of Thomas More. Right after he was executed, his head was parboiled and tarred, and then it was stuck on a spike on the London Bridge. It was a warning, do not defy the king. Common for the era. And then his daughter, his oldest daughter, Margaret Roper, bribed an official, as the story goes, in charge of the bridge to release her father's head into her custody instead of throwing it into the river, which is what they were supposed to do, just huck it right into the river. As they were making room for another executed criminal, right? You got to get rid of one head to replace it with another on the spike. So she got in trouble for this. When Thomas Cromwell figured out what Margaret had done, and Cromwell was a political advisor who was the one blamed for the downfall of Thomas More, discovered what the daughter had done, he accused her of recovering the skull for subversive purposes. And she said at the time, I have saved my father's head from being devoured by the fishes with the intention of burying it. So she died in 1544, and she was buried beside her father's head in the family tomb in London. The rest of More's remains ended up buried in a chapel at the Tower of London alongside other traitors of the time, so-called traitors like Anne Boleyn, Catherine Howard. Decades later, Margaret's son removed the head of Thomas More and took it to the Roper family vault at a church in Canterbury. His proposal to exhume and conserve what remains of More's skull ahead of the 500th anniversary of his death. It's a big controversy. The process, they think, would take several years to do. Um, they want to move forward with this plan, but the church has to get permission from the Canterbury court, which oversees the churches, and it's a big process to get his skull exhumed. I don't know why they don't just leave it where it is, but they want it. They want the skull back in this other spot. And I think they want to do it to make a big, I don't know, splash, you could say, on the quinticentenary, the 2035 quinticentenary anniversary of the death of Thomas More is as the reason for his proposed exhumation. They say they don't want to keep him to themselves, that they have a responsibility to him as a relic and to Christians and scholars throughout the world by moving this head. So he's considered a saint in the Catholic Church because of him giving his life for his beliefs. So they don't want to display it as sometimes is done in the Catholic Church. They just want to rebury it. So, yeah. There are several options for preserving the skull and placing it back in the Roper family vault. As a reliquary, they might commission an above-ground shrine or a carved stone pillar to hold it, which is what some people are suggesting. The historical sources here suggest that Moore's skull was moved to a niche in the wall of the Roper's underground vault, where it was tucked in a leaden box behind iron grating. The skull has been stored in poor conditions, apparently. So they want to save it from ruin. I don't know why you'd want to save it from ruin. I mean, he's dead. Let it decay, right? I don't know. They did an archaeological survey of this vault in 1978, and it showed that there was an advanced degree of composition, likely due to air. This is the way it is. I don't know why this is so, the condition of the skull is so important, but they do know there's some fragments of cranium, a piece of lower jaw, and lots of dust. So they would really like to do this, to exhume this skull and remove it and rebury it. And it's very important. The whole thing is kind of macabre and creepy, I think. On to a different story. How about this one? What do you do with your old surfboard? Well, you recycle it. You turn it into construction blocks, right? Let's do it. That's what they're doing in Hawaii. This Hawaiian company has found a way to convert surfboard waste into construction blocks. Surf Block Maui. They've developed this system that converts the foam from surfboard shaping into building materials for construction companies to use in the construction process. Apparently, there's a lot of waste left behind by surfboards and the surfboard industry. They use EPS to make surfboards. It's known as styrofoam, and it happens during the construction process. Well, this company has created a process that takes that EPS and converts it into composite material for insulated composite concrete into these blocks that are an alternative to masonry units. When reinforced with steel, the blocks can be used to make up structural walls, and then the walls are coated with and poured in place concrete and a moisture barrier. The company tried to solve a host of problems experienced on Maui. The first, they say, needing to cut down on the waste from the production of surfboards. The other, though, reducing the amount of concrete used in construction, because if you have this as a filler, then you don't need to use as much, because concrete has to be imported to Hawaii. It's really expensive to get it over there, not to mention the carbon cost of transporting the materials there. By using these surf blocks, They say it cuts down on the need for concrete by as much as 30% on the island. They say we're an island with limited space, limited resources, and landfills that are filling up fast. So, creating building materials from local waste is environmentally responsible and essential, allowing them to reduce imports, cut emissions, and build in a way that's truly that's place based. Love it. As long as it's not toxic, that um, styrofoam that's inside doesn't somehow pose any risk. I think that's fantastic. Surf Block says the homes created with the materials have downstream benefits, increased insulation, durability in case of future disasters, including earthquakes, fires, and hurricanes. They say they are managing the collection and the production of the blocks. So his company, this company, Surf Block Maui, is overseeing the whole process. So hey, they say the importance of using surfboards really reflects on the island. The quote is surfing was born in Hawaii. Shaping boards is still a part of daily life here. Being able to take that leftover foam and turn it into something strong, lasting, and community serving carries real meaning. So, some of the homes already built are being supplemented by a wood frame upper stories resting on the bases of surf block down below. Two homes so far have been built on the island, three more are in permitting as rebuilds from the Lahaina fire in 2023. So that's pretty good. I love it. Surf Block Maui. I'll take a house in Maui out of Surf Block. Then again, I'll take a house in Maui out of pretty much anything. Speaking of water, look what they found in the water. It's another wedding ring story. Here it comes. The scuba team rescued a lost wedding ring from a river in the UK. They came to the rescue of a paddleboarder whose wedding ring fell into the river Great Ouse in Bedford, England. This man said he was on the river. His name is Ant Crocker said he was on the river near Cardington Lock when he realized his wedding ring was missing from his finger. He said he tried swimming down, but the visibility was really poor at the bottom. And being 2 to 3 meters down, he said, I needed to come up for air by the time I got down. So he sought help from the Bedford scuba divers. The team assembled the next day to search the river. And one diver came up with the ring after only 10 minutes in the water. Ant said, I didn't think they were going to find it. So when they did, I gave them all a hug, even though they were soaking wet. A huge thank you, he said, to Bex, Tony, and Tracy of Bedford Scuba Divers for their efforts recovering his wedding ring. Like a story with a happy ending. The wedding ring has been found. Not so happy over here. This is a picture of a very angry bishop. The bishop lives near the church, I would say probably adjacent to the church, maybe even in it, where a concert was being held. And due to some technical trouble, the concert went a little past 10 p.m., which it's not supposed to. And the bishop came down in his so-called dressing gown, what looks like a robe, in front of a crowd of at least 300 people, got on stage and berated them for the noise. He asked the crowd to leave my house. This work deserves respect, not to be disparaged as a terrible racket, according to one audience member. The choir put their heart and soul into it, and here comes the bishop, displeased that people are still there hanging out in his area. There's video of his rant. I'm told that he apologized the next day, but we have to share him his tirade that he went on, just right in front of all the people there. You're in my house and that's it. It's gone past 10. A terrible racket. He says, you're in my house. Can you leave now, please? Thank you. It's over. Let's see it again. Leave now. He wants everybody out. So there's the angry bishop and his tirade. He is not having it. The concert goes past its allotted time frame, and he's like, "Nope, you guys, you got to go." The choir did not pay attention to that. Once he left the stage, they did their last song. Uh, then a church employee asked the crowd to leave quietly and for the musicians to step down from the stage. The choir again did go on to perform one last song, an a cappella version of ABBA's Dancing Queen, before they brought the show to a close. Initially, people in the audience thought this was some kind of a staged joke, and so they were kind of laughing. The church says they willingly rent out their premises for performances. They can hardly be surprised if they take bookings for concerts and there's music in the hall, according to the choir. The choir members worked really hard on the performance. They were criticizing the bishop's remarks. The people here, they said, put their heart and soul into this. The bishop cut them off midstream, preventing soloists who had worked their hardest from singing and preventing the audience, which included people of all ages, from enjoying it to the very end. The spokesperson for the Diocese of London told The Guardian, Bishop Jonathan reached out to the organizers Saturday to apologize for his late-night appearance at the concert, which he now understands had overrun due to technical difficulties. They say they hope the bishop is well and okay. It's possible that he just had a really bad day. An unambiguous apology would help, one that recognizes why his behavior was not acceptable. Yeah, the bishop not having it at all. Pardon me. Yeah, the bishop not happy. Look at his angry face there. Get out of my house. You are no longer welcome. Let's go back to Hawaii for a minute. You see those indents of people in the rocks on the shore? They have been uncovered. They're 500-year-old petroglyphs that resurfaced on a beach in Hawaii, on Oahu. The mural is 115 feet long. We've seen them before. They appeared in 2016 as well. So we've known that these ancient petroglyphs are here. They're on Oahu's eastern coast near the Pili Army Recreation Center. They were first documented in 2016 in these lithified sandstone, this area on the shore. Researchers estimate Hawaiian artists etched these figures into the sandstone about 500 years ago. It is the mural, 26 individual designs measuring between about 6 inches and 6.5 feet tall. 18 of them they think depict humans. 8 of them appear to be male with genitalia and everything. The others arranged in dynamic poses. The largest figure appears to extend one hand toward the sky and the other toward the ground beneath it. They think it's 500 years, but they're having trouble really pinpointing an exact date. It could be more than 600 years old. They think that because of nearby sites as well. They just don't know for sure, but it stretches on this area all the way down the beach on this sandstone. The documentation of these engravings has been done, pictures taken, so they can share them with the local indigenous community members and ensure that the site doesn't get damaged. I mean, you could have erosion, you could have curious visitors, vandals type of thing to come through. The petroglyphs are occasionally revealed after seasonal tidal changes and wave fluctuations shift the beach's sands to expose the artwork underneath it. So when the sand is washed away, then you can see what ancient Hawaiians left behind. And it's really pretty cool. There are outside public interests in this area as well. So it's very important for everyone to preserve this. The Hawaiians in the area Native Hawaiian cultural practitioners think this mural was likely crafted to illustrate religious or ceremonial beliefs even before the arrival of Europeans. They say they're proud. The Hawaiians that made this were proud and knew where they came from, so never fostered any hatred for people arriving even after that, because one day they believe the land will be returned to them. Pretty cool. You can see how long it stretches. I have another picture, which is more narrow, but I'm going to show it to you because it really puts it in perspective how big this area is, how much work you could say there is to preserve it as well. Here's what it looks like. You can see it goes all the way down. Very cool. And here it is again for people to look at. I hope it stays safe and that people don't go and mess it up on purpose. Lotto of the day. Let's do it. Sorry, cough break. This is a story about a Lotto winning streak. This man in California just keeps on winning. His name is Juan Zarate. He told officials he stopped at the Chevron on Hesperian Boulevard in Hayward in the East Bay and decided he wanted to buy an instant prize crossword scratchers game. Won $2 million from a scratch-off ticket. He said it's a new high point in his recent streak of lottery luck. He has won 4 $1,000 prizes in the year leading up to his latest big win. So this would be his 5th win. 4 times he won $1,000, and now he's got $2 million. Mr. Zarate said he plans to put his money toward paying off his family's house and investing in their future as well. So that's a big win. 1,000 here, 1,000 here. Finally, you get your 2 million. Look at that. There may be a different way for us to get vaccines in the future. Saw this really interesting story in Popular Science about researchers testing a new method to deliver vaccines from dental floss. Yeah. Right now, of course, mostly it's done by hypodermic needle. But biomedical engineers are looking at new approaches that could mean we don't have to get a shot, which would be very happy news for parents all over the place, right? Dental floss is what they're looking at. They did a study. The initial findings published in the journal Nature Biomedical Engineering. The shots have their drawbacks, they say. Needles are a difficult sell for anyone with a phobia and a low pain threshold. They say their efficacy is also sometimes limited because of where antibodies are produced. While hypodermic vaccines stimulate antibody creation in the bloodstream, there are some pathogens like influenza and COVID that still enter the body through the nose and the mouth. There have been some vaccines that were developed with nasal spray as the alternative, but even then, the spray had trouble breaching the epithelium, which is an interior tissue lining designed to block viruses, dirt, and dust from entering the bloodstream. The epithelium coats not only regions like the lungs, intestines, and stomach, but the deepest pocket between your teeth and your gums. So they say, unlike other parts of the body, this part of the epithelium doesn't feature the same protective barrier. So a team of researchers from North Carolina State University thinks they found a backdoor for vaccine entry, that without the protective barrier seen elsewhere in the body, the junctional epithelium, as it's called, is more permeable than other tissues. It's also a mucosal layer, which means introducing vaccines there could boost antibodies where they are often needed the most. Pardon me. They say this presents a unique opportunity to introduce vaccines to the body. I have to take a cough break. Pardon me. All of a sudden, wow. All I can say is thank goodness for the mute button. Sometimes it's really needed. So, to test the theory of this, they used mice, unfortunately. Can you imagine them in the lab flossing little mice teeth? Because that's what they did. They oversaw a teeth cleaning session for lab mice, and they also enlisted two other groups of rodents to receive the same vaccine in different ways, one through the nasal epithelium and one through the mucosal tissue under the tongue. And they said the results were really clear here, that applying the vaccine via the junctional epithelium produces far superior antibody response on mucosal surfaces than the current gold standard for vaccinating via the oral cavity, which is putting the vaccine under the tongue. The flossing technique, or the junctional epithelium, right, also provides comparable protection against flu virus as compared to the vaccine being given in the nose, through the nose. They said there's an existing benefit or an additional benefit over the squirting it in the nose, that it keeps the brain safe from harm, because occasionally intranasal vaccines have the potential to reach the brain and cause some complications. And this, the flossing method, offered no such risk. So they say it's very, very promising. They've done these initial experiments, and they said now they have to do more research. While they were doing their research, they didn't stop at the flu vaccine. They tested it for other viruses as well, three other major vaccine classes: inactivated viruses, mRNA, and proteins. And each time they tested, the flossing method, the epithelial junction, offered an effective site for introducing antibodies into the bloodstream and across mucosal surfaces. And that was true for these little mice having their teeth cleaned, whether they ate or drank shortly after receiving their flossing or not. So it's considered to be a pain-free alternative. They even went so far as to ask a small group of human volunteers to floss with floss picks coated in fluorescent food dye after explaining how to reach the epithelial junction in their gums. 60% of the dye, they say, was deposited into the gum pocket, which suggests that floss picks may be a practical vaccine delivery method to this epithelial junction. So now the findings have to be reviewed and a clinical trial for humans considered. They say no vaccine delivery method is perfect for every patient, but given that this one is pain-free, easy to use, they think it could really help increase the numbers of vaccine and booster rates, and that would really increase the public health, the benefit to public health as well. So that's the future. I think we're going to be flossing, getting our vaccines with flossing in the future, which is super cool. Love it. Uh, can we talk for a moment about travel? Let's go on a little trip. This time we're going to a bunch of different places because it is Travel Tuesday. And we do have the top towns in America to visit in 2025. Thank you to, I believe it was Delette who sent this in. Oh, Deidre, my apologies. Deidre sent this in. Thanks to Deidre for the story. Best small towns to visit in 2025. And thanks to Deidre for the story, and thanks to CNN for the story as well, because they crafted the list and we are just kind of piggybacking on top of it. And she sent me the list because Petaluma is on it. So that's my city. So I'm pretty excited. But number 10 on the list of the best small towns to visit in 2025 includes this one. Look at this. Oops, my apologies. Let me see if I can make that bigger. Look at that ice rink right in the middle of town. This is Rapid City, South Dakota, number 10 on the list of small towns to visit. It has presidential attractions, big name parks, native art, easy day trips as well. What you're looking at here is the Main Street Square in Rapid City. They have an ice rink in the winter. They also have a really cool dinosaur park. Check this out. You can go take a little walk and look at all the dinos as you head through Rapid City, South Dakota. This is a popular city for mountain bikers and hikers. There are panoramic views from the trails here within the Skyline Wilderness area. They have a tribute to science and engineering at the University, South Dakota Mines. All the trails are located within city limits. And of course, after you've taken your little skate or trip through the Dino Park, they have lots of craft breweries in this city as well. Check it out. There's the Cohort Craft Brewery. And again, this is Rapid City, South Dakota. There are lots of different restaurants, lots of diverse restaurants: Indian, Bangladeshi, Thai, Vietnamese, Mexican, Italian, Japanese. Something is happening with the food around town in Rapid City. It has a big art community as well: theater groups, symphony, orchestra, chamber music society, a jazz festival that debuted this year, 2025. Visual arts as well, and a lot of Lakota, Native American art, music, and talent here. The Black Hills sacred to the Lakota. There are powwows and art markets and festivals and a lot of things for sale. Look at that. You go shopping, get some Lakota souvenirs. This is actually the Prairie Edge and Sioux Trading Post that sells Native American arts and other goods. But there's a Journey Museum that houses the Sioux Indian collection, which is considered to be one of the finest collections of Lakota art in the nation. So the artists there say it's really special that we're in a part of the country where our history with the United States is still relatively new. There's a lot of cultural practices and languages, and the native arts in this area are very strong. It's one of the best contemporary native art collections in the region. So parks, attractions, historic towns, all of this within an hour's drive or less, and it's all going down in Rapid City, South Dakota. That's a pretty cool place. The next city on the list is also pretty special. Number 9, Clarksdale, Mississippi. And I would not have thought, I will tell you, of going to Mississippi to check out a small town. But this place actually looks pretty cool. Again, it's called Clarksdale. And let me show you some pictures of it. Clarksdale, Mississippi. The blues live in this Mississippi Delta town. So when you go to Clarksdale, you're going for some serious music. And it's, they say, like a festival all year round. Here it is, number 9 on the list. Let me share the pictures with you. Here it comes. Oops. Sorry, I'm clicking on wrong buttons over here. Check it out. Again, like a festival all year round. Yes. This is the Cathead Delta Blues and Folk Art area. And great conversations about blues going on. The town looks the same as it did decades ago. A lot of brick buildings, wide avenues. But people come there and say, oh goodness, this place is going down. And the folks in the town say, nope, you should have seen it 25 years ago. We're actually on the way up. The festival atmosphere makes this town feel like a really good party. It's home to more than a dozen music festivals, Blues legends perform. There's dancing. There's a lot of venues, 24 venues in this little town, street corners, outdoor stages. Lots of fun here. Here's one of them, the Ground Zero Blues Club. So if you like blues, jazz, this type of thing, Clarksdale, this is your place. Clarksdale, Mississippi. There's Reds, a classic juke, they call it, serving cold beer, live music, and big personalities. Delta Blues Alley burned down, but there's lots of recent arrivals. Live music on the menu every single day. And then there's always the opportunity to go out and do stuff in this area. They have new lodging here as well, giving people more opportunities to stay in town and experience more. One of the places that recommended is called the Shack Up Inn, which is a collection of rustic shacks where sharecroppers once lived. But it's also home to a music venue decorated in roadside Americana motif. Pretty fun. There's also the Travelers Hotel. Here's a picture of the Travelers. Doesn't look like much, but they've got the pictures of the artists there. Yeah, there's the Travelers Hotel. Right in the heart of the city, within walking distance to the restaurants and the entertainment. So pretty fun. They say it's kind of got some gritty character as well. Lots of places to meet people in the lobby. They have great food in this area as well. Lots of Southern food for you. This is blackened catfish on the menu at Levon's Bar and Grill. It's not all typical Southern soul food. A lot of the dishes have been influenced by New Orleans cooking as much as the Deep South. So there you go. That's Clarksdale, Mississippi. And it looks like a fun place. If you're going to Mississippi, right? Number 8 on the list is Northampton, Massachusetts. It's an independent haven of Northampton, a different kind of college town with a definite independent spirit. Let me take you here. Again, this is Northampton, Massachusetts. And it looks like a place that's really welcoming for all, I'll say. Look at that. Rural beauty and utopia. Look at those old buildings. So pretty. It's got a lively downtown. Really cool. It's they say the only town with the unofficial motto where the coffee is strong and so are the women. They say the coffee that can be found around the town in the cafes are really strong. And the women mentioned in the slogan there refer to the alumna of Smith College. The campus is at the edge of the downtown, and it's called one of the most beautiful in all of New England. It opened in 1875. Smith, one of 5 colleges at this area of Massachusetts called the Pioneer Valley, that has 5 colleges, 30,000 students in a 20-mile radius. So it's a rich cultural life. One of America's finest women's colleges. Smith's ethos, they say, can be felt in first-rate local bookstores and a warm, artsy community as well. The Mass Central Rail Trail is a 10-mile bike and pedestrian path that winds through downtown over the Connecticut River and connects you to spectacular scenery, especially if you're headed to neighboring towns like Amherst as well, home to the University of Massachusetts. So pretty fun place. Local, independent, music. This town was founded by Puritans in 1654. But now it's grown, and it's known as a cultural hub. So there's also a big thriving silk industry in this area. There was a group of silk manufacturers that set up shop in this town. And for a long time, that dominated the town's economy. So Music also a key part of Northampton. They've got the Iron Horse Club in this area. Lots of flowers and trees to see here as well. So again, that's number 8. That's Northampton, Massachusetts. Do you pronounce the H? Do you say Northampton or Northampton? Number 7 on the list is Las Cruces, Mexico. A sunny spot where desert, mountains, and cultures mix. Again, it's number 7 on the list. Has some beautiful scenery. Just gorgeous, this area. I have to show you this picture. It's so pretty. Here we go. Number 7 on the list, Las Cruces. Check this out. This is quite the picture. Look at that. I'll make it bigger so you can see it. Just wow. The Organ Mountains Desert Peaks National Monument. It covers 500,000 acres of spectacular landscapes. It's 20 minutes northwest of Las Cruces in the Robledo Mountains within the prehistoric Trackways National Monument. Paleontologists around the world know this place very well. It is one of the most significant collections of early Permian animal tracks, reptiles, amphibians, and insects, left tracks dating back 280 million years here, tens of millions of years before the dinosaurs. The fossils lay in an unknown remote landscape until 1987, until a local amateur paleontologist found large reptile footprints at that site as well. And he spent years carrying heavy slabs of mudstone out of here on his back. But even so, today, if you're hiking through this area, you can still see the Trackways exhibit in this area. Yeah. There are also a lot of aspects of this zone that feel very Mexican in nature because this was part of Mexico. It's friendly, it's relaxed, it's culturally rich in Mexican traditions and holidays and food as well. Yeah. There's a procession they have, church processions, and a lot of religious ceremonies that take place. The Pueblo is a big place for people to go. A lot of native dance festivals happen in this area. So Las Cruces, New Mexico, is number 7 on the list of small towns to visit. Number 6 on the list. Oh, surprise, surprise. Here we go. What is it? Petaluma. What a shocker. And this is why Deidre sent me the story. Once the world's egg basket, it says, this gold rush era boomtown still delivers culinary riches. And that is true. We are the egg basket of the world, and this is where American Graffiti was filmed. There is a massive festival. Every year, the American Graffiti Car Festival is held here. And they say the farm to table movement has really dated all the way back to the gold rush in the mid-1800s here in Petaluma, because we are a very agricultural community. And so food here is a little different, right? Our eggs come from local producers. Our milk usually comes from local producers. So, I mean, you can eat bad food here too, but a lot of food is fresh and comes from farms and is healthy. And if you want to eat that way, you definitely can. Around town, you can see faded hatchery business names painted on old brick buildings. That is true. Around the turn of the century, 1800s into 1900, Petaluma was listed as the egg, or known as the egg basket of the world, and that is because of the Petaluma River. You had agriculture here, and the availability of easy transportation. This is before the Golden Gate Bridge, right? So you could bring boats here and easily get them back to San Francisco. So you had your eggs and your dairy from Petaluma going up through the bay. But they mention here the Butter and Eggs Day Parade and Festival, and the Petaluma Historical Library and Museum, which is really a cool place to go check it out. You can see an egg cleaning machine there. And an old photo of the town's former chicken pharmacy. That's true. And the first incubator, the incubator was developed here in Petaluma. At least that's what the story is. So the CNN travel story on Petaluma says the culinary tradition of Petaluma continues today with everything from buffalo milk ice cream and sourdough bagels to Swedish cuisine and famous craft beer. And it is true, there is a huge culinary tradition in Petaluma. Music, games, and beer, lots of local stores. The ability as well to go check out stuff like festivals, you can see here, and also paddling on the river. You can rent a paddleboard, you can rent a kayak, you can cruise up and down for the day. I wouldn't swim in the Petaluma River, that's for sure. But a day on the river can be pretty fun. A lot of people fish out there, but there's a place where you can rent all those things, and it's called the Float House, and go check that out. So that is number 6. Love to see Petaluma on the list of best towns for CNN. The town number 5 on the list is Annapolis, Maryland. Big Navy town, Annapolis. Let's get some pictures of Annapolis. I know I'm doing this in a weird way, but here's what it looks like. You can surf the internet with me here. Annapolis, Maryland. It's really a pretty place. Look at that. You can see all the buildings and all the boats headed out. Really pretty. They say that Annapolis was America's first peacetime seat of Congress. Look at that. Beautiful old buildings here in this area. What you're looking at is the Naval Chapel at the Naval Academy in Annapolis. In this area, underneath this area, I should say, is a crypt holding the remains of John Paul Jones, who was a famed naval commander. But when you're in Annapolis, one thing that you have to do is get out on the water. That's a must. And look how beautiful it is. This is a commercial hub, so there's a lot of boat traffic in this area. The city is deeply linked, they say, to the waters of the Chesapeake Bay, which is the nation's largest estuary, and the maritime heritage is evident almost everywhere you look. While you are here in Annapolis, Maryland, you can tour the Naval Academy. There's a huge museum here, a lot of really interesting things to see. God, my dad would have loved to have done that. And while you are at Annapolis, you got to have some seafood. Look at that. Is that lobster or crab? I think they're eating crabs. Yeah. Crabs and hush puppies at Cantler's, which is a waterside restaurant right outside of Annapolis. No shortages here of places to eat or drink. Very fun. There's a place called Reynolds Tavern, which dates back to 1747. And people love going there because of its colonial charm. A lot of fun things to do. That is number 5 on the list. That is Annapolis, Maryland. I seem to always end at the food. Number 4 on the list, also a beautiful place. You may have been here. This is close to us. This is Bend, Oregon. Not North Bend, which is more on the coast. This is Bend, Oregon. A beautiful place to go. So cool. Putting the campy in campfire, they say. Am I on the right spot? Yeah. Bend, Oregon. They say the headline is, "This outdoor paradise in Oregon vibrates with a go play all day energy." Live music, creative lodging, food, beverages, all kinds of fun in Bend, Oregon. That's a pretty cool amphitheater. The amphitheater you're looking at is the Hayden Homes Amphitheater, which sits right along a riverway. There's a lot of lakes, fishing, boating recreation, whitewater rafting, kayaking, rock climbing, all within a 60-mile radius of Bend, Oregon. The way to dress in Bend is like you just bought your clothes at REI. A lot of leisure wear, a lot of casual feelings. This Hayden Homes Amphitheater is the town's outdoor music venue right along this river. You can often see deer strolling by in the parking lot, geese on the lawn, a lot of nature in this area. Right across from this is the town's theater. A 10-minute drive is the Deschutes National Forest and the High Desert Museum. And there's some cool kind of campy places to stay here as well. Here is one such place. They say putting the campy in campfire. It's kind of kitschy. Yeah. They have the Tumalo State Park campground. This is the Campfire Hotel, which is really a motel, with a saltwater pool that's heated up to 100 degrees in the winter. And on the bottom, it has a giant campfire logo. They say in the swag shop, you can buy a flask, a metal camp cup, marshmallow roasting forks. So that's kind of fun. And then they have said to be a religious experience, the drinking, the beer. This is called Monkless Belgian Ales. It's one of the many breweries here. Monkless Belgian Ales Brasserie. So that's pretty fun. And there's just a lot of cool things to see and do in this area. And it's so pretty with trees everywhere. Let me scroll down a little bit. Check out this picture of Bend. There's kind of an overview of the town with the theater, the Tower Theater there. All right. So that's number 4 on the list. Number 3, Asheville, North Carolina, where they had some recent flooding. But they say the mountains are still here. And in Asheville, they are ready for your visit. And boy, do they have some incredible buildings in Asheville, North Carolina. Check out this picture. Here we are at number 3 in Asheville. Look at that. Just the most gorgeous old buildings in this area. So, so pretty. Here's some other shots of Asheville. This is home to buildings that date back to the 1920s. You see here the Flatiron Hotel, which opened in 2024 in a 1926 building in their downtown area. So, so pretty. Also, they have a bit of a renaissance here. There's a River Arts District, home to a creative community that's been going on since the 1980s, where they started transforming old industrial buildings into studios. So very artsy. The lower part of that neighborhood was destroyed by Hurricane Helene, but there's an upper section that escaped the floodwaters, and it's very much still open for business. Asheville, they say, is a more welcoming community than it's ever been, and it's also a closer community than it's ever been. This the Radical, which is a graffiti chic art-centered hotel, hosted the first responders there, and it reopened to guests in January. So they're really hoping that people will come back and visit Asheville, North Carolina. I will say the scenery is incredibly beautiful. We'll scroll down a little bit. That's the damage done by the flooding, but they're really coming back from it. And look how there's the wine, Leo's Wine Bar, and food. That looks delicious. This is the asparagus tartine. But check out this road leading to town. Really beautiful. So that's Asheville, North Carolina. Second best town to visit for 2025, American town, I should say, is Missoula, Montana. Far more than a gateway, they say. There's outdoor activities and live music and creative pursuits and all kinds of fun things to do in Missoula, Montana. And away we go. Fishing, the very first thing on the list. Fishing. And there you go. All kinds of fun things to do. They have the confluence of 4 great rivers in Missoula, Montana. Apparently a river runs through it here. the greatest rivers in the western United States for fishing and recreation, according to one local outdoor outfitter. It's the Bitterroot, the Blackfoot, the Clark Fork, and the Rock Creek. And because of this, fishing is ingrained into the local way of life. You can take a guided fly fishing outing if it's your first time and you need a guide and some teaching. You can hike, camp, mountain bike. Huge wilderness areas, the Lolo National Forest, the Bitterroot National Forest is here, the Flathead National Forest, and the Bob Marshall Wilderness. Really fun. A lot of places to see. They say if you were back in Missoula before 1990, the middle of town would have been a giant sawmill, and they would have been chopping up logs. And there was a haze that kind of settled over this whole town. The air was bad and smoky, and there really wasn't much going on. But then came the regulatory changes and efforts by environmental groups throughout the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. And they pushed natural resource extraction industries out. The economy was hard hit as the mills closed down. But then A River Runs Through It was filmed here, and it really helped bring tourism to the fore in Missoula. Americans now fly fish in Montana. And that was a turning point, that movie and the tourism. It shined, they say, a bright spotlight on fishing in Montana. This is also a great place to catch a concert. Check this out. They have some great venues here. You're looking at the Kettle House Amphitheater in Missoula, premier live venue right on the banks of the Blackfoot River. They also have creative culture in this area as well. Here's a shot from inside of a very interesting museum with some sculptures. You can see here at the Radius Gallery, which is a ceramic art installation in downtown Missoula. And the town itself is really picturesque, very cute. Look at that. Clean. They say safe. This is the old sawmill district, bringing a new life, they say, to an area once occupied by a mill. You ready for number 1 on the list? All right. Number 1, best small town to visit in the United States for 2025 is Ithaca, New York. And we were just here looking at waterfalls, but now we know it's a really great place for scenery. Ithaca, New York, a showstopper. And there we are. First stop, the waterfalls. Yep. It's so beautiful. The Cascadia Gorge Trail connects Cornell University's campus with downtown Ithaca. The fall colors here are extra amazing. Check that scene out. Yes, please. Let's go in October. The downtown is small, but tree-lined streets surrounding the Commons, which is a 4-block pedestrian-only commercial area. It's where they host the Apple Harvest Festival in September. Ooh, maybe we have to go in September instead. This is the traditional homelands of the Cayuga Nation. And Revolutionary War soldiers got land grants here as payment. Cornell University, founded in 1865, is here. Ithaca College followed in 1892. It was originally a conservatory of music. And there's a really big music scene in Ithaca. So, look at the waterfalls here. Just wow. Wow, we're doing Waterfall Wednesday a day early, but look at that. You can see people walking up this trail of stairs right alongside this amazing waterfall. This is Lucifer Falls in Robert H. Tremond State Park. Look at that. Wow. It's also, they say, cider country. So about a dozen cider producers are in this region. Near the town of Buttermilk Falls, South Hill Cider is a scenic spot for guided cider tastings, fermented cider, drinks by the glass, live music as well. There are campsites bookable online in this area, in the Finger Lakes area. Super fun. They have a great, I don't want to take us away from the waterfall, but we're going to the farmers market. Yeah, there's some music. Best towns to visit. There's the farmers market. That looks like a big farmers market. Local products from crafts to snacks to enjoy on site there. Lots of restaurants, vegan restaurants as well. So there you are, Ithaca, your number one small town to visit in the United States for 2025. Again, thanks to Deidre for the list, and thanks to CNN for putting it together. And I hope you enjoyed Travel Tuesday, even if I showed you the pictures in a weird way. Thank you guys for being here. Much appreciated. I'm going to head on back over to my mom's house, but I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Tomorrow on the Mark Thompson Show, Mark returns along with John Rothman, and Belinda Weymouth will be here as well on YouTube. That starts at around 11. Oh, 11-ish. And then it is Waterfall Wednesday. If you have any suggestions, please contact me, kim@theafterparty.live. Always love that. But until we meet again, please make it the very best day. Thanks for hanging out with me here on the After Party. For now, bye.
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you.
Thanks, Mindy, and thanks everyone for the nice wishes. Mahalo, Susan. Thanks, Red. Thanks, Yvonne. Thanks, everybody. Can you just hear this guy yelling? Look at his angry face. Get out of my house! Thanks, Ricky. Thanks, Heather. Petaluma meetup in the works. All right.